All right, now we can officially begin. What is going on, guys? Coming at you right now on YouTube and on Facebook. It's the RCWR show. Lee Sanders here, coming at you for Thursday, August the 16th, 2018, covering the very latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond. So, we're here for very good reason. We're talking about the SummerSlam card as it stands right now. We have at least 13 matches that have been announced. So, I'm actually really glad we did not go into this card on Tuesday's RCWR show, which you can catch every Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, as soon as SmackDown goes off the air. Come on live on YouTube, Facebook, the RCWR show app, and also via the Spreaker.com website. Before I begin, we have been covering the very latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond. I'll definitely dive a little bit more into it, if not on really, given the fact that it's SummerSlam weekend. Most likely I'm going to be talking about it next week, and I'm probably most likely going to be doing a wrestling with the topics edition with Tammy talking about it. But of course, thoughts, condolences, prayers, nothing but love and support to the family, friends, colleagues of one Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, that has passed away earlier today at the age of 76. She was dealing with pancreatic cancer, something that she had been battling for God only knows how long. But if you've been looking at her and the appearances that she made within the past 4 years, it really didn't look as though she was doing too good. So, it's definitely a big blow. I would have to say, when you just think about 2018 so far, think about the celebrity deaths, none is definitely bigger than the Queen of Soul herself. And trust me, I will definitely be dedicating Tuesday's show to talking a lot about her passing, offer some of my fondest memories, things of that nature. So I do just want you guys to know I am aware, and if you're following me on social media, I did have some very nice, kind words to say, and I really like the way that the news has been covering her passing. And trust me, she has very strong ties here to the nation's capital, and some of which it may surprise you a little bit. So trust me, you'll definitely like what I have to say on next Tuesday's show. All right. But for now, let's talk wrestling. Let's talk about this SummerSlam card. We got a lot of matches we need to get into. So let's go ahead and get right into it and sound off. Let me know about some of the matches you're looking forward to. There was a thread that we posted on the Facebook page. I'll actually give a little bit of acknowledgement before this broadcast ends. And if you haven't taken part, you can do so right now. All you gotta do is just post a comment down below, sound off what matches or match are you looking most forward to at this year's SummerSlam, and what you think is going to be happening with this SummerSlam card as far as the winners go. So let's go ahead, let's jump right into it, man. A lot of matches to get into. Do appreciate you guys that's joining me right now, because I know otherwise, there's not really anything else on except for some preseason football. It teach its own. I actually like preseason football. All right, let's by the way, we have SummerSlam 2018. In case you guys are keeping track at home, this now makes the fourth consecutive year that SummerSlam is coming from the Barclays Center. Just some fun trivia. I just really thought I'd kind of highlight that, because the last time a SummerSlam was not at the Barclays Center, right? You got to go as far back as SummerSlam 2014, and that had took place in Los Angeles. So I'm a little bit curious what's going to be coming about with regards to next year. Is next year's SummerSlam going to be at the Barclays Center again, or what? You just gotta, and I can't help but talk about this, because with the news that had came about of how the MSG was able to get sold out, because Ring of Honor, New Japan, they pretty much had combined their forces, and boom, this event got sold out. They're not piggyback riding off of WrestleMania from just down the street or a couple of blocks away or whatever, right? not really that much hype, not really that much fanfare, give or take, and they were able to sell out MSG. You just can't help but wonder, and this is like the first time that another wrestling promotion is going to be happening at the MSG, right? Like you got to go as far back as almost, I want to say 1960. Like that's how far back you got to go. So I can't help but wonder how much Vince McMahon and crew want to try to come on back home to MSG and try to have something spectacular happen for that arena, for the fans to come to that arena, whether it's they bring a pay-per-view or they bring more Raw, SmackDowns, or NXT shows. You just can't help but wonder what the game plan is going to be for them with regards to MSG in the future within the next 2 to 5 years. But be it as it may, for the fourth consecutive year, SummerSlam, the home for it is, God, damn, that's a tongue twister, isn't it? For the fourth consecutive year, SummerSlam is happening at the Barclays Center. So just some interesting trivia right there. Shout out to those of you that remember the main event match for SummerSlam 2014 as well. All right, pre-show matchup. We got the B team. Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel taking on the Revival, Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson. It is a tag team match for the Raw tag team titles. Look, man, I have been very vocal. I've been a great supporter of Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. But for me, when they got the tag belts off of Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, it just really felt as though creative was really blowing their load at just boom, just all at once. It really felt very rushed. And I tell you what, ever since the B team had became the Raw Tag Team Champions, there was that little bit of a backing for them. I mean, these guys, they pretty much have had the fan support since they were with The Miz. And I think honestly, WWE capitalized off of that very well in the way they were building up Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. However, I personally feel, and I'm pretty confident that I'm not the only one that feels this way. I'm sure a lot of you other fans probably feel the same way about this as well, which is for me, booking wise, it really would have made a lot of sense to have these guys be fighting tooth and nail just to climb to the top and finally get the tag team titles. I think it really should have been a situation, and I'm really stressing and reiterating some words I had said several weeks back, if not a couple of months ago, about how this should have all panned out for the B team, which is you should have had them continuing to fight in the tag division all the way up until maybe October, November. Then you go on ahead, make them the tag team champions, right? That would have made a lot more sense. You kind of can't help but wonder if some last minute adjustments were made because the reports are out there that Matt Hardy has been dealing with some nagging injuries. It's expected he's going to be taking some time off pretty soon. So you can't help but wonder if maybe that's one of the reasons why they went on ahead and decided to get the tag belts off of Wyatt Hardy. Who knows? Matt Hardy, next time he's able to give an interview, I think that's honestly a really good question to ask and find out if there was any type of a factor as far as his injury goes that led to the tag belts being taken off of him and Bray, or if everything had went according to plan. But it just feels so rushed, and you've seen the reactions that these guys have been getting afterwards, pretty much after they won the tag belts. All right, we got what we wanted. We got our instant gratification. Okay, so yeah, what's next? It's really how it's been coming off. So, me, I'm looking at the Revival, and I got to tell you guys straight up, man, with regards to the Revival, I've really been big fans of the Revival. I've been big fans of these guys since their time in NXT, and it's been very infuriating what's been going down with them since they've been on the main roster. And I still feel in my heart of hearts that with regards to a call up on the main roster, these two men should have been actually placed on the SmackDown brand. I still feel, and I even though they're now in a position where they're going to be fighting for the tag belts at SummerSlam, I still feel that they would be a better asset to the SmackDown brand. I still feel that from a creative standpoint, having the room to really breathe, being given a little bit more creative freedom to play around a little bit. You guys have heard so many times in the past from superstars that's able to be on SmackDown. They tell you it's like night and day when they go from Raw to SmackDown. SmackDown is just so much more loose. You can have some jokes, right? It's a lot of, much more friendlier atmosphere and all that when you get right down to it. Okay. And whereas Raw is just so tight, it feels like you're coming in for a job, basically. I like Revival. I really do. And I think if there was ever a time to reinvigorate this tag team, to put some type of cachet into these guys, if ever a time and a place, this Sunday, making them the Raw Tag Team Champions, I think you got to go in that direction because honestly, if you're not going to put the tag titles on these guys, sometimes you have situations where you look at a guy like maybe a Dean Ambrose, or you look at a guy like a Kevin Owens, and you can make the argument, hey, man, those guys, they don't really need this belt, or they don't really need that belt because their personality alone, their charisma and all that, they're bigger than a title. They're bigger than a world title. They're bigger than an IC title or a tag title. They're bigger than that. They can just come out there and they can just be them, right? They don't need a title. Sadly, you can't make that same argument for the Revival. So for me personally, I think it's been a fun, magical carpet ride, but B Team, I'm seeing losing those tag team titles at SummerSlam. I must tell you, of all the matches, I would be surprised if B Team were to walk away from that bad boy still the Raw Tag Team Champions. So we'll see how that pans out. Let's talk about the next matchup we got coming up here. Next matchup on the card, another pre-show match. We got Rusev and Lana taking on Cien Almas and Zelina Vega. It's going to be a mixed tag team matchup. Just thinking from a storyline continuity, right? So the past couple of weeks, whether it's been Rusev fighting or it's been Vega fighting, we've always seen Aiden English. And it's pretty much rinse and repeat. He botches. He talks to Rusev and Lana backstage. Oh, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 blah. Just for storyline continuity purposes, right? It would make so much sense if right before this match were to go down, maybe we see some type of a backstage segment where Aiden English is getting ready to tag along with Rusev and Lana. But Rusev says to Aiden, hey, I know you mean well. I know you do, brother. I know you do. But look, I have spoke with Paige, and she agrees. You have been banned from ringside. We're going to go out here, and we're going to do this ourselves. Win, lose, however it goes down, at least we'll be able to do this without any potential interference from you. So you got to stay back here. And just to sweeten the pot a little bit, if he were to come at ringside, I think honestly, it should be a stipulation where Paige basically sets forth, hey, if Aiden English comes down here to the ring, whether he interferes or not, if he doesn't abide by what Paige is saying, he's going to be suspended right there on the spot until Paige is ready to have him come back on the main roster, right? That would make a lot of sense. Do I think WWE is going to go that route? I don't. I honestly believe that once again, Aiden English is going to come out and he's going to call some type of a silly little hiccup. And sadly, Cien Almas, Vega, they're going to come out on top again. That's just the way I'm seeing it play out. And look, man, I know that WWE, they got to do what they got to do to really make really great riveting TV and everything each week. But I think multiple times with the whole Aiden English and the silly little bumps and all that. I think they kind of made a little bit of a mistake with regards to. I think they revealed their hand a little bit too early. You see where I'm coming from? Because think about it for a second. It's safe to say that Aiden English is going to come out again. And if you're watching this at home or you're going to be that New York crowd, you're going, okay, this is expected. Yeah, whatever. Like, so what else is new? You know, what else do we have? So I think it makes all the sense in the world to go with the thought I had put out there initially. Whether or not they're going to go in that direction, who knows? But honestly, I'm going to say Cien Almas and Selena Vega. I'm just the way it's kind of going. Just thinking about that WWE psychology. It's really coming off that in English is going to pop up in that bad boy. All right, so those are two pre-show matches so far. Let's go to our next one here. I am seeing Finn Balor is going to be taking on Baron Corbin. How I miss the Demon, Finn Balor, the Demon King. I miss that dude so much, man. Man, what I give to see that at SummerSlam. Man, you know what? In all seriousness, Baron and Finn, they've been having some really damn good matches these past several weeks on regular TV, and I've been equally as impressed with Baron Corbin. I still say that the match he had against Balor, I want to say 2 weeks ago, that was by far the best in-ring performance I've seen of him since he's been on the main roster. I mean, this dude is really, really starting to come into his own. I really must say, been very pleased with his progress. Not feeling that attire though, man. I mean, but at the same time, who isn't really feeling that attire? You don't know whether you should ask him how the breadsticks are this evening, or here it's the red Volvo. Go ahead and park it for me. You know, here's the 10 for your trouble. I really hope that as far as in-ring gear goes, I really hope that Baron Corbin is going to be coming out to some type of new gear, actual in-ring gear, as opposed to coming out there in his casual wear. So, but match itself, I mean, this should honestly be a damn good matchup. Just looking at the entire card here, I would have to say this is probably going to be one of three. Wow, what a surprise match of the night. I really think these two guys are going to take it up even that much more higher of a notch from what they've been doing these past couple of weeks. I think they're going to crank it up another notch. I got to see Balor come out. I think just the way the story's been kind of going back and forth for the most part, Baron's been kind of getting the upper hand on Balor. It makes all the sense in the world for Balor to come out on top. And then I think the ramifications, just setting up next batch of weeks in programming for Raw, Baron can just continue to be obsessed with Finn Balor. I can see some type of a situation occurring where eventually Stephanie McMahon is going to have to come in and pretty much put Balor in check and say to him, look, I didn't put you in charge so you can be putting your thumb on a guy like Finn Balor, and you know you're making this come off way too personal. That's not what I hired you for. I hired you to keep Kurt Angle in check, make sure he's running a really good show. And look, you've been, in all honesty, pretty distracted with some of your own personal vendettas, and that needs to stop right now. I mean, you just look at how long these two guys have been going back and forth. I would like to believe that SummerSlam could potentially be the end all of it, but I'm definitely seeing a very, I won't say deranged, but a still pissed off, obsessed, bit bad, obsessed Baron Corbin coming out and trying to do something to Balor. But I'm seeing Balor come out on top. I think it makes all the sense in the world because Baron's really been kind of getting the upper hand, so to speak, on Balor. I think it makes more sense for Balor to come out. All right, let's go to the next one. I've got Shinsuke Nakamura defending that United States title against Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy, another guy here that's pretty damn banged up. Boy, I tell you, you look at both Hardy boys, And if there was ever a time for these guys to take some much needed R&R, it's about right now. Quite honestly, these guys, they need to seriously go home, enjoy themselves, enjoy their children, their wives, take about 3 months off, maybe 4 months off, come back recharged. And I really hope that happens for them because they're both banged up. And I'll tell you something else I would like to see happen. I know that WWE probably looked at Jeff Hardy and said, you know what? There's more cachet, there's more stock, there's more revenue opportunity with Jeff as opposed to Matt. But we'll go on ahead. We'll let Matt have his fun. We'll let Matt do his whole little broken Woken version. We'll let him go ahead and do that for a little bit. But I mean, from the time that they came back to the WWE and you go all the way up to now, these guys slowly but surely, as the weeks have progressed, they've gotten more banged up and banged up and banged up. And it's just now getting to that point. I don't know how it is for you guys. And I don't really see that many people talking about this online. But it's for me personally, watching these guys all the years that I've been watching them, it's sad to see that what they did in the previous years has now caught up to them so much so that they're starting to hobble on out there like old men. You know, these are guys that's in their early mid 40s, and the way that they come out there, sometimes, you know, you really feel bad for them. You got Matt who comes out kind of slowly hobbling like Jeff looks like it's painful for him to freaking walk. So these guys, as far as I'm concerned, they need to take some serious R&R and rest up, man. Seriously, do some serious rehab, whole 9 yards. Don't come back until you're at least, really, you should be 100%, but try to come back when you're 90% better. And here's another thing, and I really hope this happens. I would love it if WWE would, the next time we see the Hardys, they're back together. I really feel that now more than ever, they need each other, right? Because it just seems like when both of these guys were together, I'm just going back TNA, Ring of Honor, all that. You know, it seems like when they're together, they do such a great job in keeping each other in check, so to speak. It's not so much Matt we have to worry about. I think Matt's okay. Matt just needs to rest. He'll be all right. Jeff is the one that I'm really worried about the most right now, as far as relapse goes. So I really hope that once they've rested up and they're interested in coming on back, that WWE, they put them back together. That way, both of those guys are always on the road together, because, you know, I would like to believe with the brothers separated on each respective brand, it's a little bit hard for them to kind of hook up and all that. And pretty much the only time they can really see each other, if they're lucky, is, you know, maybe in between, possibly in between the shows. But that could be a case where one's coming and the other one's going, and then you have the joint pay-per-views. So, but regardless how I'm setting all this up, I'm not convinced that Jeff Hardy is going to be coming out with the United States title. I am definitely seeing Shinsuke Nakamura with a retain, whether it's hook or by crook. And just looking at the rest of the card here, one name I'm seeing right now that is not visible at all, and I'm just double checking just to make sure I'm reading it right here. I don't see a Randy Orton. And contrary to Randy Orton making the headlines right now with some of his supposed past behaviors, you know, yeah, I'm not going to even dive into that talk because we talked about that on Tuesday's show. I don't think that he's being penalized. I don't think he's being punished in any type of way. And the fact that somebody had dug up this audio that was from the MLW show and they were talking about Randy, and okay, great. But I mean, just hear me out for a second. And I want to say this because I really didn't make this point on Tuesday night, which is Anybody that has been a fan of pro wrestling and you grew up on the wrestling from the 80s, the 90s, you had a situation where your parents, they were able to hook you up with some nice cool VHS tapes of, matches that, maybe they had saw in the 70s or whatever, however you do it, because you had the whole bootleg market and all that for wrestling tapes back in the day. I would like to believe that true pro wrestling fans have heard their fair share of ribs. There have been stories where guys have taken a dump in boots. There's stories where somebody's sleeping and guy comes in, shaves off another wrestler's eyebrows and all that. We've all heard our fair share of ribs, especially those of us that have collected shoot interviews, things of that nature, right? So to hear this type of stuff that's going on with Randy, that should really not be shocking the hell out of anybody. And I'm doubling down. I still feel in my heart of hearts that even though we got the whole Me Too movement going on and we're a little bit in it's the SJW era that we're in right now. The least littlest thing that goes down, the SJWs are coming out in full effect. But regardless, I just don't see anything happening to Randy. And that, despite the fact that the company is now been for several years a publicly traded company, I'm just not seeing anything going down. I think if anything, kind of doubling down on what I said a couple of days ago, Randy for the past, I would say 4, maybe 5 years, he's really been toning down his act, been coming off a lot more mature, wants to be a good family man, good husband. Now more than ever cares about that quality time with his family, enjoying his kid. Honestly, I think those days of immature Randy, I think those are long gone. So I don't see anything happening as far as Randy being punished in any type of way. So the fact that he's off the card right now, I'm not seeing it's because of this stuff that's resurfaced. I'm not seeing that whatsoever. I think instead they probably want to throw a little bit of shock and awe into Nakamura, Jeff Hardy, honestly. Hook or by crook, I'm hoping that we get something that comes about with Randy. Whether he low blows the hell out of Jeff Hardy or he finally gives just both of those damn guys a RKO and the match just pretty much ends that way. I think Randy Orton's definitely going to play some type of a factor in this one, but regardless, Shinsuke, whether it's by DQ courtesy of Randy or however it's going to play out, Shinsuke's still going to be holding on to that U.S. title. Next up, we got Drew Gulak. Can't believe this is actually part of the pre-show. They should actually move this and make it part of the actual pay-per-view card. Drew Gulak is going to be taking on Cedric Alexander for the Cruiserweight title. Drew Gulak doing a nice little 180. Louis have a disadvantage right here because I really don't watch enough 205 Live. So I only know on what I see highlights wise. But the last little bit I saw, it's been a couple of weeks. For me, Drew Gulak actually has been coming along. He's got a lot more personality. Uh, there's something about him. First time I saw him, he just had that face. You just want to punch him. Just want to freaking punch him. I like what's been happening with him last I had saw. He's got a nice little small stable going on and all that. If I'm not mistaken, you guys will need to correct me, but the last little bit I saw, because my memory's a little bit fuzzy. Yeah. I'm gonna say Gulak. See, Carmella defends the SmackDown Women's title against Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair. More and more I look at this matchup, the more and more it comes off as if. And can I just be honest with you guys for a second? I don't see anybody else talking about this online, and it's very infuriating for me. You look at the rest of this SummerSlam card. You know what this card screams to me? No Asuka. What I don't understand, for the love of me, why could you not have Becky Lynch take on Carmella one on one for the SmackDown Women's title and have Asuka challenge Charlotte? You have the most simplistic storyline right there for you guys. Most simplistic storyline. Asuka suffered her first loss to Charlotte at this past year's WrestleMania. So it would have made all the sense in the world that when Charlotte does come back and she's talking about, oh, it's great to be back, blah, 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 blah. I'm looking forward to competing again for the SmackDown Women's title because, as far as I'm concerned, Carmella, you and I, we still got some unfinished business. But then you could just cue up Oscar. Oscar could come out and be like, no, 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 no. You and me have some unfinished business. I've been a little bit sidetracked with some other stuff. We know Oscar ain't going to be saying it all like that, but in a nutshell, Oscar could basically be like, no, 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 you and me have some unfinished business. I've been a little bit distracted by blah, 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 and I'm still trying to I'm still trying to chase after that SmackDown Women's title, but you and me, we got some unresolved issues because SummerSlam or WrestleMania, yeah, you and me had that match. Yeah, I'm looking for a little bit of redemption. You and me, one on one again, this time at SummerSlam. Would have made all the sense in the world. And then think about it. Think about it. That would have been the second time that Asuka and Charlotte would have taken each other on. Okay, you have Asuka get that one. Okay, so now it's tied. You do one more. Maybe you could do one more at Survivor Series, or maybe you could do one more at Royal Rumble just to conclude the trilogy. You could have easily done it like that. So for the love of me, it's very frustrating going into SummerSlam that one of the best women in professional wrestling today, not the best, just one of the best, is not on the card. So it seems. So I that just really rubs me the wrong way when I really just look at this card, and I waited patiently. I was going to talk about this much sooner, but I said, no, you know what? Let me give WWE the benefit of doubt. Even if they don't put Asuka in this match for the SmackDown Women's title, she's on the card. Period. As long as she's on the card, makes all the sense in the world. But she's not on the card. There's no reports out there that's saying, oh, she's injured or she's dealing with a personal family matter. So she's gone. No, there's nothing of that nature. And you just can't help but go, well, is it possible that maybe WWE has plans for Asuka? That maybe they are going to do something with her and she's kind of on the back burner right now so they can pretty much get past this? Or what? What exactly is going on here? It's kind of nerve wracking when you really just stop and think about it. But Carmella, Becky, Charlotte. Oh, man. My heart is screaming Becky. It's Becky's time. But will it actually go down that way? I don't know, guys. This is a tough one for me. I'm definitely not seeing Charlotte. I'm not seeing Charlotte. For some reason, I'm just not seeing Charlotte walk out with the title. I think Carmelo's going to walk out. I think Carmelo's going to walk out with the title. That's honestly the vibe I'm getting. I just have a feeling that a third wheel was thrown into the mix to basically feed Carmella, so to speak. And if you stop and think about it, you've already got some nice little seeds planted there for a Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair feud. You can't help but wonder, though, okay, well, if Carmella's going to come out of this still with the title, then what's next? And honestly, you could say that maybe the reason why Asuka is in the back burner right now, maybe she's going to come up next to challenge Carmella, because Asuka could definitely make the argument, hey, I would have been champion if it wasn't for James Ellsworth. His constant interference and the constant double teaming. I deserve a fair one-on-one match and no interference whatsoever. Anybody comes, interfere, they get fired on the spot. Until you put some stipulations like that, it's pretty much just going to be rinse and repeat. So I know some people are kind of wondering if James Ellsworth is going to be showing up. I'm not seeing that going down. So, but again, I'm looking at Carmella coming out with the title. Ziggler defends the Intercontinental title against Drew McIntyre. I said that wrong, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler defends the Intercontinental. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Drew McIntyre versus Drew McIntyre. Well, he can't fight himself, but he can fight Dolph Ziggler. No, that would be interesting though. Dolph Ziggler taking on Drew McIntyre. You gotta forgive me, it's a little bit hot in here. I've got my damn ceiling fan on and it's still very hot. I mean, we're pushing about 94 degrees right now, and it is only a little after 8 o'clock on the East Coast. So it's pretty damn, or has been a pretty damn hot day today. Ziggler defending the IC title against Seth Rollins. We got the return of Dean Ambrose. Man, I keep going back to that WWE interview Seth Rollins had recently. And he was talking about how it was kind of a blessing in the disguise that Dean Ambrose had got injured, because it basically forced him to step up more and more as far as being a singles competitor and all that. When I first read that, I'm kind of going, that is very interesting. There might be a match right here. There might be a rivalry, because one could kind of look at that as a little bit of a dig, so to speak. Like, how you really feel, Seth? And granted, Seth and Dean, they feuded before, but it was back while Seth was the heel and Dean was the face. I'm very curious how a heel Dean Ambrose would work with a face Seth Rollins. And look, we all can be in agreement. We don't need wacky, woohoo! We don't need wacky Dean Ambrose right now. We need the Dean Ambrose that we had got on Monday night. Has a mean streak, nasty, got that serious demeanor, look like he's going to snap at any minute. That's the kind of guy we need right now. And quite honestly, I think I might be onto something, because I thought it was kind of interesting how Renee Young was pretty silent when Dean Ambrose made his return. So much so, I even remember a couple of months back on Monday Night Raw, Michael Cole and the gang, they actually had congratulated Dean and Renee for getting married or whatever. I do remember that. Can't remember the exact episode, but I remember them giving that nod. And I just think it was kind of interesting that with Renee on commentary, that connection was not mentioned, or not even a, Renee, you're usually the one that has scoops and everything. Did you know this was going down? She was just, mum is the word. So there's something you could kind of build off of that as well. I'm not saying you have Renee be involved in the story arc. I'm just saying you could have it be a situation where, who knows, maybe Renee hasn't talked to Dean in several weeks or whatever. He's been kind of hard to get a hold of because he's been dealing with some issues and he's really not talking as much as he used to. Been kind of distancing himself or whatever. But I'm just trying to picture going forward, what could we see come about with Dean Ambrose? And if you don't do it at SummerSlam, you got to do it at some point in the next 2 to 3 weeks on Monday Night Raw, which is, I think it's inevitable. I think you're going to have Dean Ambrose turn on Seth just to really make things very, very interesting. And I know some of you guys are kind of going, well, wait a minute, Lee, what about the IC title? Like, what's going to happen with that? I think eventually Drew will turn on Dolph. I think eventually that's going to happen. And when that does happen, that IC title is going to be coming home to McIntyre. I think that's honestly what's in store for Dolph Ziggler. But as far as Sunday goes, I'm going to say Dean Ambrose turns on Seth Rollins. Hit it hard, hit it strong, go into Monday Night Raw. Why Dean? Why? I mean, that makes all the sense in the world to me. I don't know about you guys. See how many more matches we got here. We're doing pretty good. You guys all right so far? If you are, make sure hit the like, subscribe, all that good jazz. Let's keep it rolling, man. Got a couple of more matches to talk about. We got Braun Strowman taking on Kevin Owens. Remember, if Strowman loses by any means, he will lose the contract. Interesting one. Interesting one right here. Very, very interesting. This is the first match in months where I'm looking at it and I'm going, this could go either way. It really could. Because you could have Kevin Owens win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Lesnar takes on Reigns. There's just no way I'm seeing a Kevin Owens pick up the scraps of a Brock Lesnar that barely is able to escape with the title. And he just pretty much becomes champion that way. I'm not seeing that. I can see a Kevin Owens cashing in on a Roman Reigns that defeats Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. I can see that happening. I could see Braun Strowman cashing in that Money in the Bank briefcase later that night on Brock Lesnar. Not seeing it on Roman. For some reason, I'm not seeing a Braun cash in on Roman if Roman were to come out with the title. I'm not seeing that. Although that would be a really, if you want to send New York happy, that would be one hell of a way to do it. You see the dilemma here? This could really go either way. Because if you think about it for a second, does WWE want to run the risk of Roman Reigns walking out of New York with the Universal title? Hostile crowd. Hostile crowd. And I'm like this. Cheer who you want to cheer. Boo who you want to boo. But at the end of the day, it's all about entertainment. And when it comes to these type of events, you really should just be, this is the time where you get with your friends, get your good, get your good food on, get your eat on, get your drink on, all that good stuff. This could go, I don't know, man. This is a tricky one right here. I'm not really sure how to come at you guys because it could go either way. If I was booking this, what I would like to happen, what I personally would like to happen, I would like for Kevin Owens to win that Money in the Bank briefcase. I would like for him to win that Money in the Bank briefcase because he's been kind of a little bit, seesaw, kind of up and down these past several months. Braun is Braun. Braun will be all right. Braun's going to be a future champion regardless. And I know what I just said may piss off some people. And they're like, well, when do you make Braun become a champion? When does it happen? It could come in the form of whenever Raw decides they need to name a new number one contender and they do some type of a tournament. You could easily just pretty much do it that way. You know, what's really sad about this, though, is that Sami Zayn is continuing to be out right now on injury. If there was ever the perfect time for Sami Zayn to return, and you talk about the ultimate revenge, Sammy helping out Kevin, and that's how Kevin can become the Money in the Bank holder, right? But and we can forget about Jericho interfering. That ain't happening either. Yeah. I don't know, guys. See, I'm not so convinced now on Kevin Owens now. Now it's screaming to me, Braun, Braun, Braun. I'm gonna say Braun, and I'm gonna stick to Braun. I'm gonna stick to Braun. I'm gonna stick to Braun because I still want to see that matchup between Lesnar. I still want to see that. I want to see those two guys one on one. That just screams take my money. I'm gonna stick with Braun. I've stayed with Braun this long, and I'm gonna just continue to roll. That's the future, man. That's the future. Bludgeon Brothers taking on New Day. SmackDown tag titles. This should be a no-brainer, right? New Day, hands down. Not so fast, because we thought for sure Kane and Daniel Bryan, and no, didn't happen. I'm gonna stick with the Bludgeon Brothers. I'm gonna stick with the Bludgeon Brothers. I'm gonna stay with the Bludgeon Brothers because I feel eventually what's probably most likely gonna happen. Bludgeon Brothers may eventually feud with Sanity for the tag titles. And I think maybe Sanity will be the team to take the titles off of the Bludgeon Brothers. That's just the vibe I'm kind of getting right now. I'm not convinced that New Day is going to walk out with the tag titles. I'm just not. Just not. We missed one match that was way, way, way towards the beginning. And I kind of wanted to put that a little bit more higher to the top. Daniel Bryan taking on The Miz. I'm booking this. I'm having The Miz go over. He's just been on a great roller coaster, right? Can we count the ways? He's got a really damn good show, Miz and Mrs. I think it's freaking hilarious. I really do. Already got the green light to come back for a second season, right? And people want to get all, but the show it declined this week, and it's one thing if you're going, hey, at first, Ms. and Mrs. it had 1.5 million, and now sadly this week it's down 500,000. Well, what the hell happened? And then next week it's like, only 189,000 viewers had showed up. Okay, I get that, right? But he's still able to command him and the Miss, right? Maurice, the Misses. They're still able to command the viewership that they've been able to command, and that speaks volumes. And I tell you what, I think that show is a blessing in disguise because I said earlier this year, as far as who could potentially be capable of becoming a champion, be it on Raw or SmackDown, I said Miz. I said hands down, I said Miz could be that guy. Everything that he's been touching as of late has been fire. You had Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel paired up with him, and he made nothing but good things happen from that. To a degree, you could say he was doing his very best to carry the workload for SmackDown until AJ Styles came on board and everything. So he's really, for me, been showing that he has a steady hand. And I just feel that still, before this year is up, Miz is going to become a champion. I really still feel that way. If I was booking this matchup, I actually would have The Miz come out on top. Don't think that's going to be happening, though. I feel in my heart of hearts that Daniel Bryan's going to come out. This, as far as matches of the night, this should definitely be the most technical. This should be the one that really blows the roof off the joint. I'm looking at this one to be the absolute best match of the night. Can I jump out there? Can I say 5 stars? Yes, I'm gonna jump out there. I'm gonna say 5 star matchup. That one is gonna be these two guys, man. I'm telling you, and shout out to WWE. They had put out a really great package on SmackDown of this whole rivalry that's like been 8 years in the making, right? And they did a really good job putting that together. And that kind of highlighted what I had talked about the past 2 weeks on the show, which is when you look at a lot of these matches, rivalry all over it, rivalry, because you look at Lesnar, Reigns, okay, a couple of years there of a rivalry. Miz, Daniel Bryan, okay, that's a rivalry right there. Bliss, Ronda Rousey. Yeah, they've been rivals. They've been going at it for the past couple of months. You look at freaking Finn Balor, Baron Corbin. Okay, that's another one. Even though it kind of just started a couple of weeks ago, you can even look at Rusev, Lana, Vega, Almas, right? You got a lot of Braun Strowman, Kevin Owens. There's a lot of rivalry matchups here, right? So yeah, for me, if I'm doing this, I would have Miz go out on top. It makes all the sense in the world, right? Go steady, ride the white hot hand. But I just feel that Daniel Bryan is gonna get it. And honestly, if you ask me if Daniel Bryan should be getting the win, no, he should not be getting the win, regardless if he's staying with the WWE or not. It's just no. Miz is he's good. He's good right now. He's white hot. We got to go with him. He's the one that's really capitalizing right now. Would Miz be okay with a loss? Yeah, he's gonna be okay either way. But just selfish reasons. Just really been a fan of the Miz, and I tell you what, if he continues to pull in good numbers with that show, sooner rather than later, I just feel that upper brass has to go. Okay, you know what? Maybe when we gave him the ball the first rodeo, we could say he was pretty immature, timing wasn't quite right, and all that. But you know what? Everything he's been doing for us these past couple of years, you hear nothing but good things about the Miz too, especially when it comes to doing the whole PR work and everything. Wherever he needs to be, the guy's there. Every single freaking time WWE needs somebody to make some type of a crappy movie, he's always volunteering. You got to reward that type of good service sooner or later, right? Versus a guy like Daniel Bryan, I may stay, I may go, I don't really, he's been pretty vocal and all that. So, like, why are we bending over backwards for when meantime you've got a guy that's continued to be loyal? I don't really teach its own, but for me, that just kind of rubs me the wrong way. All right, go with our next matchup. AJ Styles taking on Samoa Joe for the WWE Championship. I should be saying, hands down, Samoa Joe. You know what's my biggest concern right now, though? Joe has been getting injured a lot. And that really concerns me. It really does, because there's been times where, oh, Joe is so white hot, like, yeah. And gets the injury, and that's pretty much it. I should be screaming Joe, hands down. But those injuries, man, I don't know. Those injuries, I'm a little bit concerned about those injuries. Now, I'm looking at the SummerSlam card for last year because I was curious what AJ Styles was doing back then. And back then, AJ Styles, he was feuding with Kevin Owens for the United States title with Shane McMahon as the special guest referee. Oh man. And then you go to previous year before that, AJ Styles was feuding with John Cena. That was just a straight up one-on-one matchup. I'm I'm gonna stick with AJ. I'm just not convinced. If it wasn't for the injuries, hear me out, guys. If it wasn't for the injuries that Samoa Joe has been racking up recently, and look, that's no fault to him, right? Some could make the argument, well, Lee, if he kind of lost a little bit of that weight, did a little bit more cardio, working out and everything, maybe he wouldn't have those problems. Understand something. The style of which Samoa Joe has been working for many, many, many years. And understand, like, Samoa Joe hasn't really, like, the entire time I followed his career, he has rarely taken time off. He's rarely been injured. And it's just a situation now where he ran pretty hard in NXT, and he definitely ran pretty hard when he came up on the main roster. So when you're running that hard and you've been wrestling that style and you've been wrestling for X amount of years and you're kind of up there in the age, sooner or later, it's all going to catch up to you. So for me, that's why I'm going AJ Styles. I'm just going AJ Styles. It makes more sense to me that AJ Styles continues to hold on to that title. This is going to be his moment. And you know what? It should be his moment because remember, last SummerSlam, even though it was kind of good, could have been a lot better, but it was so. But I think SummerSlam, this is going to be his year. Quite honestly, I think AJ Styles is going to have a phenomenal year. No pun intended. I think he's going to have a phenomenal match with Samoa Joe. I think they're going to tear it up. I really do. But as far as who's going to come out of there with that championship, let me tell you something. If Joe gets it, I will legit be happy. But my only question, my only concern would be, how are you going to do Joe? Are you going to spare him from wrestling on TV? Are you going to let it be a situation where out of 4 episodes a month, maybe you have him do 1 or 2 matches and pretty much everything else is going to be the pay-per-view until you're more than convinced that he can kind of carry the workload on TV again every single week? Or, I would be happy if Joe wins, but those would be my concerns. And that should definitely be the concerns of you guys as well, because honestly, it doesn't make sense giving Joe the title and then a couple of weeks later he gets injured again, and that's just silly. That's just silly. So I'm going to say AJ Styles walks out with the title. 2 more matches. Let's go. Bliss, Ronda Rousey. A lot of us had smelled from a mile away that possibly Natty was going to be turning on Ronda, but with the unfortunate passing of her dad, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, there's just no telling when Natty is going to be back. I would be surprised if Natty had popped up. And I think this just changes the course of her character and the direction when she does get ready to come back. Because, when she does come back, she's going to get a standing ovation from the fans. And, because they want to cheer her. They want to profess their love for her and their love for her dad. And I would just think that WWE, they're probably not gonna, okay, you're back. All right, let's go ahead. Let's have you turn. And I'm just not seeing that. So I think it's possible that Natty may not surface for at least about a month or two. That's just the honest vibe. But all that being said, I'm booking this matchup. Yes, I'm going to have Mickey James in the corner of Alexa Bliss. Ronda looks as though Ronda is going 1-1-2 basically. I think at some point, I don't see her on the card, so you need to have her involved as well. I think just out of admiration, out of respect for each other, I see at some point Nia Jax coming to the aid of Ronda. And basically, when it's all said and done, I'm seeing Ronda come out as the new Raw Women's Champion. Um, it's that time. It's that time to go ahead, pull the trigger. I like what I've been seeing of Ronda. If I wasn't that convinced she could take on the load, I'd be like, forget about it. But no, she's really been coming around, been picking up the game real fast, man. Real damn fast. Now, as far as how I'm seeing this match playing out, I think it's going to be a game of chicken shit. I can see Alexa Bliss teasing Ronda, playing around, little cat and mouse game or whatever. Make it be a situation where Ronda chases her all around the ring, maybe before the bell starts or something. Because I mean, look, if Ronda's that like pissed off and all that, and you know Ronda's going to get the belt right, because newsflash, don't be too surprised if Ronda maybe during the pre-show or leading up to this matchup, she goes, "I'm dedicating this match, and when I win the title, to my good friend Natty, and to the memory of her dad, Jim the Anvil Neidhart." So you know, this should be a no-brainer how it's going to play out though. But yeah, I'm kind of looking at a little bit of a cat and mouse. Mickey gets involved and all that, but yeah, Ronda for the win. One more matchup. Let's go. Lesnar Reigns. Everybody's convinced it's going to be Roman. Dudes, I got to be honest. I got to be honest. If Roman were to walk out with that Universal title, I legitimately do not see him unanimously being booed out of the arena. I don't. I think there's going to be some boos, but I don't think it's going to be a full blitz boo this dude out the building. I don't think it's going to be that way. Question is, will Roman walk out with the title? I'm going to say no. No. I'm going to say no. Two reasons. Maybe three, but two that come to mind right now. And these are brief. The first one, the UFC deal, right? It just seems like over the years, Dana White, WWE, UFC, they've been kind of getting a little bit more friendlier with each other and everything. And then you factor in, damn, that would sound pretty damn good. Brock Lesnar, UFC champion. Brock Lesnar, WWE Universal champion. Wow, representing both. Wow, both companies win. How about that, right? Another thing I'm thinking about, a couple more months to go in 2018, and then the new deal that WWE has with Fox will kick in. Now, I know some people are going, well, wait a minute, Lee. Fox is just going to be getting SmackDown. Well, remember, one of the main reasons why the two rosters combined is so they can kind of let the talent cross over the shows and all that. And I think I'm just going from a marketing standpoint, good PR stuff. I think it would make all the sense in the world once in a while, at least off the break, to help out SmackDown really succeed on Fox. I think it would make all the sense in the world to have freaking Brock Lesnar show up on there. Maybe you could even do a special non-title matchup. You could basically have it be champion versus champion, right? That'd be pretty freaking badass. But I feel every action, you get the reaction, and something tells me it ain't as clear cut as a lot of us would like for it to be. As far as, well, no, Roman should be able to come out of there hands down. I'm not seeing it. And I'll tell you what, even if Roman was to walk out of there with the Universal title, here's something else you guys need to remember. Brock is supposed to be showing up on that Monday's Raw. It's the SummerSlam, post SummerSlam edition of Raw, and Lesnar is supposed to be showing up. Who's to say that Lesnar, well, since I'm in the area, I'll just go ahead and I will revoke my rematch clause, right? And Lesnar could win the title back. Here's something else you guys need to consider too. That spot that had went down with Paul Heyman. Like, was this the master plan all along? I mean, it really does kind of come off that way. I'm not trying to tell you guys that it's possible Heyman could turn on Lesnar. Stranger things have happened, but if you ask me straight up, should Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar be separated from each other? Hell no. I really don't. Although I love the idea of Heyman betraying Lesnar. And who would he betray Lesnar for? People are like, oh, Braun. I still feel, because they would benefit from it tremendously, you have Paul Heyman team up with AOP. That makes all the sense in the world for me, AOP. But just the way it's kind of looking right now, all signs are indicating that Heyman and Lesnar, they're tighter than ever. But this is a sticky one, this matchup. I'm going to say Lesnar walks out with the title. And that's going to piss a lot of you guys off, but I swear, just the vibe that I'm getting. Let me just make sure I'm really thinking this thing out, man, because I really haven't had that much time to really marinate on the cards here. Yeah, I'm going to say that. I'm going to say Lesnar walks out with the title. If Roman walks out with that title, do not expect Roman to hold that bad boy that long. Do not expect him to hold on that long. Would I love it just period if Roman gets the title? Yes, I would. But you know what? It's been a good minute since I've seen a rivalry where, my God, no matter what, I just can't beat this dude. I bring him everything and then some each time. And every time when I'm that much more closer, he's that much more better. The one guy I just can't beat. I haven't seen anything like that in a good minute, in a really good minute. Be nice to kind of have that tradition going. And just another idea that I was thinking about. If I was booking this match, you want to talk about something that would make people jump off of their seats and go, holy freaking crap. You want to talk about moments, right? Because I went over this whole card so far, and so far there's no, where's the moment? Where's the hook, line, sinker? Like where's the moment? Can I give you guys a moment? If I'm booking this, and if I were to make a bold prediction, let's just really sweeten the pot, right? Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, they're fighting. Duking it out, all that good stuff. Comes close a couple of times. Roman looks like he's going to get it. Nope. Don't look like that's happening, right? No telling how much of a factor Paul Heyman is going to be or whatever. I would actually have, at one point, the referee get taken out. Roman, spear, Superman punch, goes for the cover. Ain't nothing happening. I could see a scenario come about where Roman gets so freaking pissed off. He starts yelling for another referee to come on out. Another referee comes out. Roman charges up another spear, hits Lesnar with it, goes for the cover, gets the one, gets the two, and it's a near fall. Roman's pissed. Roman's talking to the ref. He's trying to figure out, what the hell, do your job right. And as he gets ready to turn right back around, Lesnar comes to, spins that son of a bitch around, wham, F5. But that F5, actually part of Roman's limb or whatever, catches the head of that referee, takes that referee out. Lesnar's going for the cover. Now he's kind of going, what the hell is going on here? Lesnar's looking around, what the hell? See a scenario come about where Lesnar says to Paul, do something. Come on, do something. Paul decides at this point, well, you know what? I'm just going to go on ahead and I'm going to mess with one of the referees. I'm going to take their shirt off. And he decides that, well, maybe I need to be an official. It's like the commentators can go, wait, can Heyman actually do this? Like he's not authorized. Like, can he actually do this? I would then have the Usos come out. And Paul Heyman's looking at them and he's smiling and everything and just following up on that nice set of good words that he said a couple of weeks ago, or actually, no, earlier this week when he was talking about the whole family there, right? Roman Reigns' whole family. They all smiling and everything. I could see a spot coming about where Usos, they pretty much take out Paul Heyman. They revive one of the referees. They put Roman over Brock. First time pretty much of significance where we have Cole in the game acknowledge the bloodline there, that they're family. Ref kicks out, or correction, the Roman covers Lesnar. Lesnar kicks out. Referee just had enough energy to count, but he's still kind of out of it, right? Don't cue the music, nothing like that, but we have one more surprise. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson comes out, tells his family, this son of a bitch is mine. It's like, I owe this SOB. I owe this son of a bitch. He's mine. And you're going, what the hell? What the hell does The Rock mean he owes that son of a bitch? Something that always just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I have been wanting to see this for a long time. I still remember SummerSlam 2002, where decisively, and very quick, mind you, Brock Lesnar made chump change out of The Rock. And you want to talk about a rivalry, years in the making. You want to talk about having folks leave with a what the fuck did I just watch moment. You have The Rock, of all people. Don't announce him. Just have him come on out there. Now you got the entire freaking family. You got the Usos. You got Roman. You got freaking The Rock. And they all just beating the holy crap out of Brock Lesnar. Roman gets the title that way. The last burning image that you see is all them goddamn Samoans just standing there. That, for me, you want to have a pay-per-view go off, and you want to have people go, what the hell was that? There's your moment right there. That's how I basically, because after all, SummerSlams, Survivor Series, WrestleManias, it's all about creating moments. It's not so much matches. It's more so about creating special moments. And I tell you what, don't look like Dwayne Johnson's promoting any movies this month. And he's already said he's very open to doing something with the WWE. He wants to come back sooner rather than later. Well, let's make something happen already. If there was ever a time and a place, man, that would be a awesome. That's how I personally would book that bad boy. That would be my bold prediction if I were to jump out there like that. That's how I would have all that play about. That's how you could have Roman walk out with the championship and not even get booed out of the arena. Everybody mess with The Rock. Everybody mess with the Usos. Crowd's been a little bit indifferent with Roman, but and I like what Frank said in the chat. It's like, I'd rather watch the BC Firing Squad. Well, that depends, man. Are we gonna have King Tonga in there? Because boy, that's my boy, man. But I tell you, sometimes it's kind of like, hey, he's moving a little bit too slow for me, man. I don't really, but no, this is what I'm saying, guys. It's all about creating moments. And that might not be so cool for everybody, but at the end of the day, events like SummerSlam, it is to create special moments. And I tell you, if they don't deliver with the special moments, then honestly, you can call it SummerSlam and say it's happening at the Barclays, and you can put 20 goddamn matches on the card for all I care. You know, if you just focus on matches and not so much on creating special moments, then you're just going to honestly, at the very end, have yourself a mediocre pay per view that when you fast forward a year, 3 years, 5 years from now, you're going to be like, I can't really recall what happened on that card, right? People can still recall what happened at SummerSlam 2002 and certain matches from other pay-per-views, and that's good. That's what moments are all about, right? A little bit of food for thought. All right, so on that note, I don't think we need to really go over the picks one more time. I mean, we pretty much, bear with me a second here, guys, just loading this up here. All right, so to recap, B team, I got them losing to the Revival. Cien Almas Vega, I got them defeating Rusev and Lana. Drew Gulak becomes the new Cruiserweight champion. I got Balor over Corbin. I got Nakamura over Hardy to retain the United States title. Carmella retains the SmackDown Women's title in that triple threat. Ziggler retains his Intercontinental title. I'm calling for a Dean Ambrose turn on Seth. Bludgeon Brothers retain over New Day. Braun Strowman continues to hold on to that Money in the Bank briefcase. Daniel Bryan over The Miz. AJ Styles retains the WWE Championship over Samoa Joe. Bliss loses the Raw Women's title to Ronda Rousey. And in the main event, Lesnar retains the Universal Championship. We went pretty damn good right there. I'm really glad that we just did a separate edition of this show talking about this. We're going to do the NXT TakeOver card. That's actually going to be Friday night. That is actually going to be much shorter because we don't have that many matches on the NXT TakeOver card. So at most, that's probably going to be a 30-minute special that we'll do for you guys. Be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes of the RCWR show you might have missed on demand and on the downloads, wherever you normally pick up your podcast, on demand or on the download. Speaking of which, for those of you that's maybe looking for the audio version of this, I will have it be available later on tonight, particularly after the NFL preseason game is on. We got the Redskins playing the New York Giants right now. So I'm actually going to go ahead. I'm going to check that out. And once that wraps up, I'll go ahead. I'll upload this audio for you guys. Please keep the discussion going. I want to hear from you guys however you're checking this out, be it live and or on the downloads, man. Sound off. And that is going to do it. Okay, so until Friday night, where we're going to be talking about NXT TakeOver, don't forget programming. Going to be coming at you guys this Saturday, live on YouTube and Facebook. I'll be live with the NXT TakeOver after show. And then Sunday, we'll have the SummerSlam after show, same outlets. And if you can't tune in live, just check it out on demand and on the downloads. Keep smashing the like button, all that good jazz. Till then, please be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you next go round. May the good news be yours. Y'all take care.